Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. IRS provides guidance for employers claiming the employee retention credit for 2020, including eligibility rules for PPP borrowers. IR 2021-48, March 1st, 2021, Washington. The Internal Revenue Service today issued guidance for employers claiming the employee retention credit under the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities Act, the CARES Act, as modified by the Taxpayer Certainty and Disaster Tax Relief Act of 2020, Relief Act. For calendar quarters 2020, the guidance in Notice 2021-20, there's a link to Notice 2021-20, is similar to the information in the Employee Retention Credit Frequently Asked Questions, there's a link to that here as well, but includes clarifications and describes retroactive changes under the new law applicable to 2020, primarily related to expanded eligibility for the credit. For 2020, the Employee Retention Credit can be claimed by employers who paid qualified wages after March 12, 2020 and before January 1st, 2021, and who experienced a full or partial suspension of their operations or a significant decline in gross receipts. The credit is equal to 50% of qualified wages paid, including qualified health plan expenses, for up to $10,000 per employee in 2020. The maximum credit available for each employee is $5,000 in 2020. A significant change for 2020 made by the Relief Act permits eligible employers that received a Paycheck Protection Program, a PPP loan, to claim the employee retention credit, although the same wages cannot be counted both for seeking forgiveness of PPP loan and calculating the employee retention credit. Notice 2021-20 explains when and how employers that receive a PPP loan can claim the employee retention credit for 2020. So note, when we have these different kind of stimulus package or these different basically incentive packages going out as a way in a response for the downturn in 2020, there could be some overlap in some of these items. And one of those issues are with the PPP loans, people that took out a PPP loan, and the forgiveness for other kind of payroll related activity. And the idea here being that if you took out a PPP loan, then if you pay back the loan or you use the money for certain expenses, you may not need to pay back the loan, and therefore you would have gotten money basically for free for the PPP loan. Now, some of the stuff you could have paid for basically to possibly get forgiveness of the PPP loan, which means you would have got basically free money, would be expenses related to wages. So then there's going to be questions as to, well, can you take those same wages that you didn't really pay now because you paid it with the PPP loan and you got the free money to do that, to take advantage of other credits, or possibly what's going to be the issue with regards to deductions for those items, considering once again you basically paid for it with money from a loan that you didn't pay back, so really it's not a loan at that point in time. So some of this overlap between the different types of packages or relief packages for 2020 is where some of the questions will lie. So notice 2021-20, there's a link to that here, also provides answers to questions such as, who are eligible employers? What constitute full or partial suspension of trade or business operations? What is a significant decline in gross receipts? How much is the maximum amount of an eligible employer's employee retention credit? What are qualified wages? How does an eligible employer claim the employee retention credit? And how does an eligible employer substantiate the claim for the credit? While the Relief Act also extended and modified the employee retention credit for the first 2 calendar quarters in 2021, Notice 2021-20 addresses only the rules applicable to 2020. So they're trying to see, okay, what's going to be the overlap of these rules and the changes on these rules. So the IRS plans to release additional guidance soon addressing the changes for 2021. A page on irs.gov is devoted to providing information to businesses. There's a link to that here on all aspects of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities Act, the CARES Act. So there's links to that information here. There'll be a link to this in the description.